Hey guys, thanks for tuning into another client tutorial. I'm going to be showing you how I transform this beauty from this to this. So if you want to see how I done that, stay tuned. So I'll be using my Beauty on a Budget Brunch Babe makeup look box to create this look, guys. I'll be leaving the information on how to purchase in the description bar down below. Starting off with my Prime Magic primer from W7. I'm using this to apply to my client's skin. This primer is really good for oily skin. It absorbs any unwanted oil and it keeps the face looking matte. Using my Super Brows eyebrow pencil from W7, and I'm using this to outline my client's eyebrows. I like to start from the bottom and then draw upwards just to mimic brush-like hair strokes. Taking the brush end of the eyebrow pencil, I'm going to brush through the brow just to make sure that the product's evenly distributed throughout the brow. Taking the medium shader brush that comes inside of the box, I'm using this to carve out her eyebrows using some concealer. This is a really great brush for concealer, guys, and it's also good for applying your lid color as well. As you can see here, I'm using like an etching motion. This just helps me to get the line super duper straight, because sometimes, especially if I'm in a rush, this really helps me to get the line straight. As you can see here, I've asked my client to turn her head. Don't be afraid, guys, to ask your client to move or adjust themselves, just so that you can have a better hand, so that you can be in a better position to complete their makeup. Because I know that when I first started, I was really nervous to even like touch the face, but sometimes you just need to do that and able to get full control of what you're doing. Taking a wedge sponge, I am just literally blending in the concealer so that it's nice and seamless. Taking the Flawless concealer brush, I'm using this to buff out the edges of the concealer. This will help and stop any type of flashback, guys, so you definitely want to make sure you're blending out the edges. Taking my King Cole eyeliner pencil, also from W7, I am using this to further define the arch of the brows. So I'm literally just applying it to the archway and the tip. This will help the arch to look even more pronounced. Taking the NYX Hydra Powder Foundation, I'm literally just using this to set her eyelids. Taking the eye contour brush and using my Pro Finish Technique palette, I'm using the shade number 7 and I'm using that as her transition color. This is like a really nice sort of like rusty orangey shade. This brush is really good for just going just above the crease. It just fits in the right place, and I just find it really easy to use. I really enjoy using this brush. This palette is a really great quality palette. All the colors are super wearable. Taking the shade number 11, I'm using that directly into her crease. Now I'm just concentrating the color just on the outer V first, and then I'm dragging it into the remaining part of the crease. Using the short shader brush, I'm using this to apply colour to her eyelid. The shade I'm using is the shade number 8, which is a nice sort of like rose gold, rusty, shimmery shade, ideal for a Valentine's Day look. Next, I'm taking my liquid eyeliner from Lavelle and I'm using that to line her eyes. She's actually got on individual lashes. I still line eyes because I feel like it makes such a difference. The lashes I'm using today are the Sketch Lash. They have some gaps in between, so if you didn't want too much of a full look but you do want to make a statement, these lashes are perfect. Just going to take a wet wipe and just clean up the fallout. When a client's wearing individual lashes, they can tend to get a little bit tangled together, so you might want to take a spoolie and just brush them out to make sure that everything's lying perfectly. Taking one of my fave foundations, the Morphe Fluidity foundation for 100. This is such an amazing foundation, guys. If you don't know, you need to get to know. It's full coverage and it literally doesn't take much to cover the face completely. It does look a little bit on the warm side, but it's okay because I'm going to use a nice neutral concealer, so you'll see. Go as close as you possibly can to the top part of the brows. You don't want that halo brow. Taking the LA Pro Conceal in the shade Warm Honey, I am using that to apply to her under eye, in the center of her forehead, down the bridge of her nose, on top of her upper lip and also on her chin. This will help to center the light in the center of her face and just give her a nice glowy look. Taking my wedge sponge again, I'm just spraying it with a little bit of Fix Plus spray, and I'm using that to blend out that concealer. Now guys, make sure you're just not tapping too hard. One, it's your client and you want to be a bit careful. Two, you will end up taking off the product again, so just make sure that you continuously keep the sponge moving and you don't apply too much pressure. You'll find that it will blend out in no time. Just have a little bit of patience. Now look how smoothly that's blending out. I don't care what anyone says, this concealer bangs like it always will. Like it's such a great concealer, and I feel like people sleep on it, but it just does the trick, and I love it. Guys, are you serious? Look how flawless this is. Like, this just looks amazing. Taking my LA Girl Pro Contour Powder in the shade Tan, I'm using the highlight just to set the under eye. What's great about this highlight is it doesn't have any shimmer, so it's amazing for setting the under eye. Taking my LA Girl setting powder, I'm using this to bake. I prefer to bake using a wedge sponge just because I feel like it gets all the places where I need it to get, and I usually use it when it's not wet. As you can see here, I'm basically baking everywhere where I've put that concealer because I want those areas to stand out, and I want it to, you know, look quite bright, and I want it to stand out as well. Next up, I'm using my NYX Hydro Touch foundation in the shade Sable, and I'm using this all over her face. I'm just avoiding the areas where I put the setting powder. Again, taking my LA Pro Conceal in the shade Dark Cocoa, I'm using this to map out exactly where I want her contour to be. So here I'm just literally applying it to just underneath her cheekbones and across the perimeter of her forehead as well, and just a touch just underneath her eyebrows. Taking my flat wide contour brush I got from Primark, I am using that to buff out that concealer. The reason I also contour just underneath the lips because it makes the lips look nice and pouty, and it also gives the illusion of fuller lips as well. Going back in with my face powder from NYX, I'm just using that to set my contour. This is a great way of locking in the product. When it comes to blending in the nose contour, you want to use a very small brush. This will help you to blend it more efficiently and blend it into the right places. You don't want to use anything too thick for this, guys. Precision is key when it comes to the nose area. Going back in with my contour powder using the darker shade, I'm just literally reinforcing that contour shade. Taking my LA Pro Girl blusher in the shade Just for Fun. This is such a beautiful orange blusher, guys, and it's super pigmented. I literally love this blusher. That's why I chose to include it in the makeup box, because it's just so pretty and it's super affordable. Look at that, guys. Look how pretty that looks. It looks gorgeous, and it totally goes well with the eyeshadow look as well. Taking the same brush I used for the blusher, I'm just using that to dust away the bake. Guys, don't press too hard with this bit because you don't want to disturb any of the concealer underneath. So you just want to be patting and sweeping at the same time. Going back in with my eyeshadow palette in the shade 13, I'm just using that to apply to her under eye. This will help give the eye further definition and just to help add that nice smoky sort of effect. Taking my Mega Lash mascara from Technic, I am applying mascara to the under eye and also the top half of the lashes. Although she's got individual lashes, you still need to make sure that the lashes are blending well with the false lashes. Taking my Get Gorgeous highlighter in the shade 24 Karat Gold, I'm using the small fan brush that you also get in the makeup box, and I'm applying this to her cheekbone. Guys, this highlighter is so banging, like it's amazing. Like you're gonna see, like it's so pigmented, and it just gives you the most amazing glow. I won't lie, you do have to work it in quite a bit in this. You do have to work it in quite a bit, but it's such a pretty highlighter. Taking my LA Girl lip liner in the shade Chocolate, I'm lining her lips This is a really nice brown lip liner. Unfortunately, I no longer sell it in the makeup box. I do have an alternative shade because this was filmed before I changed the shade. I literally cannot find it anywhere, guys. Next, taking my plumping lip gloss from Technique, I am applying this to her lips. This is such a lovely lip gloss, guys. It's got a lovely plumping effect to it. The tone of it is just amazing. In case you forgot, I turned this beauty from this into this. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to like and also leave a comment down below. Until next time, I will see you again in my next video. Take care. Bye.